Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Monday with that terrible, terrible feeling of yet another loss. But not only another loss, but another loss to a team that was desperately looking for their first win of the season, that have been absolutely overrun by every other team in the Premier League. But along they come to good old Dr. Tottenham, and they pick up their 3 points. Just like speeding down the M25. So, what can you say? What can you say? Have I calmed down from yesterday? Do I feel any different from yesterday? Not really. Not really. I've got to be honest. I was so fed up leaving the ground yesterday. Put out an instant match reaction, which I don't normally do. Because normally when results like this go against you, I try to wait a day, let the dust settle, let the emotion go out of my system, let me realise that there's more important things in life than football, and so on and so forth. So I try to avoid doing an instant match reaction. But I've got to tell you, I came out of the stadium yesterday and I was so fed up that I just had to say how I felt. And apologies for those that watched it, for the swearing. I swear a lot. I do swear a lot, generally speaking. I try to be a bit more reserved when it comes to doing videos like this, because you never know who's watching it, and you don't really want to offend everybody. But I was so annoyed yesterday and so down about it that the emotion comes out. So apologies if you were offended by the F word chucked in there a few times. But listen, unlucky. That's just the way it is. It's the way I felt, and I haven't changed my opinion. I felt, having stewed on it overnight and thought about it and talked to the guys on the fun bus on the way home. We were all in agreement that we were just not interested in that game. The players were just not focused to do the job that they needed to do, and that is unforgivable. We was all predicting a win. All of us expected a win there. You're at home, you've got the crowd behind you. You've just beaten Man City and Aston Villa, two really good sides. You've had a rest. A lot of those players had a rest from their travels to Turkey. And let's get it right. These guys ain't packed on a bloody EasyJet flight. They're flying in really nice conditions with food and leg room and all the rest of it. It's only us idiots that get stuck with all that crap. So it's not like it's a real difficult thing. They go straight through departures. They don't have any of that messing about getting searched and all that nonsense. They don't have any problems at the other end. They stay in the nicest hotels. So don't give me all that crap about travelling and all the rest of it makes it harder. That's just bullshit excuses. The fact is, they turned up there and they thought, we're Tottenham, we're better players, this is Ipswich, they ain't won a game, we can turn them over and it'll be easy. Because that's what the fans felt and what realistically should happen. But this is the Premier League, this is football, every team deserves to be there who's worked to be there, and no team are just going to give up and not bother unless you're Tottenham Hotspur, which is exactly what we did. We give up, we wasn't bothered, we weren't interested in the tackles, we wasn't interested in winning the ball, we were pedestrian, we were slow, the build-up play was so slow, it was so slow, you got bored halfway through a move because it was just that bad. I have to say, watching Romero and Dragushin at the back, passing the ball backwards and forwards to each other was painful. Like, it's just like, you need to get ahead in this game. You need to break their spirit, because they're going to come there. They've got nothing to lose. They're expecting to lose the game. Their fans are not expecting anything from it. The media's not expecting anything from it. So they're just going to come and give it a go. They're going to come and give it a go. So you've got to break their spirit. You've got to break that straight away. You've got to shut their fans up and get on the front foot. Bang a couple of goals in and shut them up. And then start moving on from there. But there was just no effort in there whatsoever. The first goal, the fact that player, and I don't know what his name is, but the fact that player had the opportunity to just do an overhead kick without any challenge whatsoever was, laughable. If it wasn't your team, you'd be giggling and going, Brennan Johnson, what are you doing? What are you doing, mate? You're just watching him with his back to goal, hook it up. What? And the second goal is a comedy of errors. Romero diving in like he does, sliding into nowhere, totally misses the ball, goes to the goalkeeper who fumbles it and pushes it out against his own player, and then the lap is just there to smash it in the back of the net. And it's a comedy of errors, and you're just looking at it and going, oh yeah, there you go. And at 1-0, I'm thinking, 1-0, yeah, we always do this. We do this all the time. We go 1-0 behind and then we smash them. No. 2-0, mountain to climb. And of course, right from the beginning, teams are learning the best thing to do. Slow the game down, break up momentum, waste time, buy fouls and all the rest of it. And you can't blame them. It's a tactic. It's a tactic that is successful and wins teams games. We've seen it. We saw it with Villa doing it. Didn't work for them, okay. But we saw Palace do it, Arsenal do it. All these teams, they play that negative type of football and basically frustrate you and stop your momentum and all the rest of it. I did think the referee was poor. I thought that he could have stumped on that a little bit earlier. In fact, I don't think he stumped on it at all in the end. But he could have stopped that. He could have stopped that, certainly with the goalkeeper. But some of the tackles that were free kicks, it's almost like, are you joking, mate? Like, it's like if you touch someone and they're just falling over. And I just hate that thing. I hate it when we do it. Trying to buy a free kick all the time. For the free kick to just be passed backwards. Like, it's just appalling. It's just appalling. And I know you've got to call Ange out again, because I know we're used to a certain extent, the animation of Conte or Mourinho on the sidelines, jumping about and running around and all the rest of it. And we do call out, managers that do it as being embarrassing or whatever. But to just stand there with your hands in your pockets, staring into space like you're not interested, to me, it doesn't send the right signals. You've got to be telling your players, you've got to make an effort. We're in the stands shouting at the players from up there, trying to get them, trying to gee them along, trying to get them involved in the game, and trying to give them, support or whatever. And it's just, if we can see it, if we can see we're being too passive, if we can see that we're playing too slowly, I'm sure that Ange can see it. He's not a stupid man. Right, and he knows his football, he watches his football, he knows what we're doing wrong. He said it himself in his after-match conversations, but it's the same story. All you're going to hear is, it's my responsibility, I need to fix it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you need to fix it. We get it. You're the manager, you need to fix it. Okay, so what are you going to do then, Ange? What's the plan here? Do we need to change the players? Do we need to change the tactics? Do you need to give somebody else a chance? Do you need to give them a bollocking? What do you need to do? What are you going to do? Right? Because we can't just keep saying the same thing. It's the same with the players. The players come out, Sonny, apologise to the fans, we've got to do better. We learn from this, we move on. Pedro Porro will come back stronger. We've got to work as a team. I've heard it all before. Literally 3 weeks ago against Palace. You hear it against after the Galatasaray game. It's just the same thing. And it's frustrating and it's boring now. You need to put your money where your mouth is and actually do something about it. Stop saying we've got to work together as a team, and work together as a team and do something about it. The problem is for the modern day footballers, you're getting paid regardless. You're getting paid to do what you're doing and blah blah blah. For a fan, it cuts deep. It's in your heart. You're watching your team lose to, relegation fodder, to be fair, to Ipswich. Right, that's what they're expecting. They're expecting to go down. They're expecting to get beat every week. They can't believe their luck. And so we're getting pelters. I've seen a tweet from someone today who I know, getting abuse on the train home from Chelsea fans. Now, I know that's not the club's fault that Chelsea fans are Neanderthals, but they are. But they'll sit there and you're just giving them the opportunity because of a passive, poor, lacklustre display against a poor Premier League team, and you're just setting us up to get abuse, to get same with TalkSport, all these media people, all these other channels, all out there just ripping us apart. I can take a loss. Right? I'm happy to support my team and take a loss when that team has made the effort, when they've played well, they've put the effort in, they've given their passion and their effort. You can take a defeat, but you cannot take a defeat where you're just basically not bothered. And that's how it feels, that the team, the squad, the manager are not bothered. And that's not right. So, again, another manager, loads of people calling for his head. Let's get Ange out. He's naive. He's stubborn. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's only done it in Scotland and blah, 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 and all the rest of it. Fine. I get it. Okay? So, but that's exactly the same for Conte, for Mourinho, for Pochettino, for Hoddle, for, the list goes on. Nuno. I mean, how many managers do we have to go through before something changes? We're trying all these different tactics, and nothing comes of it. And the one constant, of course, is the ownership, right? And they can't carry on just sitting in the background. I don't particularly want them to get rid of Postecoglou. What I want them to do is give him what he needs to get us somewhere, to get some progression. Because I don't feel like we're having progression at the moment. I feel like we're stagnant. We're bringing in lots of young players. If that's the direction the club wants to go, I get it. Right? Younger players with promise who can develop and all the rest of it. I get it. Because you're not going to go for the, just go out there and buy the creme de la creme of whatever league and all the rest of it. Because that, may not work for you, and it costs an awful lot. And we've seen that from Man United, who just go out and buy players at stupid money, pay them stupid money, and still, don't really get anywhere. Apart from the fact that they have won 2 trophies in the last 2 seasons, right? So it's just a nightmare. I don't know what the right thing is. Is youth the right thing? Is win now players the right thing? Is a mix of them both the right thing? That's the main thing for me. So at the end of the day, I haven't got the answers to the questions. But then I'm not paid to have the answers to the questions. Big Ange is paid to have the answers to the questions. The board are paid to have the answers to these questions. And they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out quick. But certainly we've got to improve what we're doing, because it's just not working. And Ange really needs to get himself some wins and some momentum going, because otherwise he's going to end up out of a job. And then we're going to start the cycle all over again, because the media love it. They love it when a manager gets the sack, because it gives them more to talk about. All those fans that are constantly moaning about the manager, gives them validation and so on. So I get all that. I get all that, and we've all got our own kind of views on things. But these guys have all got to take responsibility. The manager, the board, the players, the tactics. All I hear is Ange's only got one way of playing. Fine. but you've got to have the players that play that way, and then they've got to do it. So if your game is playing from the back, building from the back, and applying pressure and pushing at high line and all that, you've got to play that way. You can't. There's no way that you can sit there and play this tiki-taka at the back, slow build up, and be a pressing, pushing, combative team. We're just not. We're not combative. We are not forceful enough. We are not fast enough. We are not pressing enough. All stuff that we saw from this team in the early stages of last season and in patches this season. We can't just turn up against the big teams and expect that to be enough. You've got to beat the teams that are not necessarily the ones that you're going to be battling for top four or for trophies against. You've got to beat everybody, and everybody in this league deserves to be in this league, and they're not going to give you anything. So I know I'm ranting, but I'm just so frustrated with it. The fans were great. You had the minute silence, brilliant, really well observed, absolutely fantastic. Love the last post. It brings goosebumps to you, and I'm so glad that the club always respect that. Even in the pub before the game at 11 o'clock, there was the 2 minute silence there, and that was brilliantly respected in the Gilpin. So fair play to those. I was actually meeting up with a friend, Leo Coys from Mile High Hotspur. You should go and check out his channel. All the way over from Colorado, we were doing a little video together, and then we realised that it was starting, so we stopped all the way through it. But brilliantly respected, and of course, I said it in my instant reaction. I have to give some credit to the Ipswich fans who were absolutely fantastic throughout the game. They were singing the whole time. They didn't stop. They really supported their team, and at the end there was absolute jubilation over there, and quite rightly so. I don't knock any team for celebrating a win. I think it's the right thing to do. Otherwise, there's no point going to football. So yeah, so that's it from me. The same old moans and rants and everything else. And I'm sorry I haven't gone into kind of players' performances and stuff like that. I just thought they were all dreadful, and none of them. You know what I think they need to do? They need to go and stand every player in front of a mirror. Ange, Levy, Lang, all of them, all need to stand in front of a mirror, look at themselves and say, what have I done for this club? What am I going to do for this club? Look yourselves in the eye and say, yes, you deserve what you're getting week in, week out in terms of your pay. Because for some of us, it costs us a lot of money to go and watch that crap. And to just come out with the same old platitudes just isn't enough. It just isn't enough. And I'm gutted, I'm disappointed, I'm unhappy. But the one constant thing, of course, is that we will be there supporting our team for the next game after this boring, rubbish international break, waste of time. But let's see how all these players go away and play for their international teams to see if they actually turn it on for them. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll be out there and they'll be putting man of the match performances in, and then they'll come back to us and serve up this same drivel. So I'm hoping that Ange takes this time, goes away and really thinks about what he's going to do differently, and the club need to think about recruitment and so on. What can we do in January? Where do we need to strengthen? Where do we need to create competition? Because at this moment in time, it's not working, and I'm not sure I want to go through yet another rebuild. It needs to be a continued cycle of introducing the right level of player that's going to make a difference, because I'm getting really frustrated with it. So anyway, listen, I've rambled on long enough. I think this is quite a long video, so I don't know whether you'll all get to the end of it, but I just wanted to say thanks for watching. We'll be back on Tuesday, live on Tuesday, with a Shooting the Shit episode. So please do come along and check that out. You can comment and so on, which will be really good to get your views on how you feel. But you can always leave your views and your comments and your questions in this video, and I'll try and pick some of them out and talk about those on Tuesday as well. But thanks for watching. Appreciate the support as ever. I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.